And joining us now is Sam Hornish Jr. from Charlotte, North Carolina. Sam, first of all, congratulations on a nice finish at MIS, finishing fifth in that race.
Thank you.
Give me an idea, after coming off the crash at Watkins Glen, and we'll get into that a little later on, give me an idea on how tough it is out there. You had so much success in the IRL, winning the Indy 500, winning so many championships. What has it been like to transfer now to NASCAR the last few years, and how difficult has that been, and was it tougher than you thought it would be?
I wouldn't say it's tougher than I thought it would be. It might have taken us a little bit longer to get to this point where we're getting the top fives and top tens than I might have thought at first, but I think that a lot of that goes to do with Penske Race. I mean, if you look at it last year, as a team, we weren't very good at all. I mean, Kurt and Ryan were both outside of not only the chase, but basically, the top 18. So, I mean, there was definitely a lot of things that, didn't go very well for us last year, kind of a little bit of a communication breakdown in certain ways, but I feel that communication has been a lot better this year. I've been able to learn from Kurt and David. I think that there's been times that they've been able to learn from us a little bit as far as, what we're doing with the car, or, maybe how we're driving certain racetracks. So I feel like it's much more of a team project than what it had been last year, where it was kind of 3 single car teams. So I think that's all kind of going well for us, and the more that we continue to work together, the better it's actually becoming for all of us.
What's the biggest adjustment from open wheel to stock car racing? What have you found there are obstacles that maybe you didn't know about, or maybe you just kind of learn as you go along?
Probably the biggest thing between driving the two is the cars, and basically what you have to do with the cars. There's a lot that you can do with a stock car with the braking and the throttle that really affects how the car will handle. And if you get on the brake pedal too hard, you transfer a whole lot of weight up to the nose of the car. It makes the car very loose, and then as you get to the middle of the corner, you haven't been able to put any steering angle into it. You haven't been able to turn the wheel, and then the car wants to push. So the easier you can be on the brakes, the more that you can control those transitions from throttle to braking, the better that the car is going to handle, and obviously the faster the car is going to go in the long run. So there's been a lot of things that I've had to continue to learn with that. I feel that I really started to learn a lot of those things at Bristol in the spring race, and we've been able to put them to good use, and to get a lot of top 10 finishes in the short track races. So now we come back to Bristol, and it gives me an opportunity to go out there and to try to see if those things that I learned were right, if they help us out at Bristol, and if there's anything more that I can learn out there, because we do get 500 laps of racing there because of it being a half mile.
6 top 10s, 2 top 5s, including last week, of course, up here at MIS. Just assess your year for us. Has it been a good year for Sam Hornish Jr.?
Obviously we'd like to have about 15 top 10s, but we're not to that point yet. We've had a lot of bad luck that's kept us from doing that. A lot of things that I've done as a driver that might have kept us from doing that, but the more comfortable I get, the more things that I feel that I've learned, the better off we're going to be, and the more of those finishes that we're going to get. We want to be in the top 20 in points by the end of the season. We're 180 points out of that right now, so I feel that that's an achievable goal. So just need to keep our heads down, keep working at it, and I think we're going to get there.
A couple of weeks ago, the horrific crash at Watkins Glen. Just go over that for us, and how scary was it? When you're out there and you have no control of the race cars, it's spinning around and around. That must be just awfully scary.
Well, it's a very fast corner. We come off of that corner at about 125, 130 miles an hour, got bumped by the 9 car, and got put into the wall, and we basically bounced out into the track and got hit by 2 more cars. So, felt like a little kid, riding on the teacups at Disney World or whatever you want to look at it. But it was a tough day for us. Not a lot of fun to ever be in that position, but really goes to show you all the safety features that have been, put into NASCARs. I mean, our car was totally destroyed, but all the driver cockpit area, everything inside the cockpit, maintained its integrity, kind of held me in there, safely. And I was able to get out of the car, go out and race the next weekend and not have any ill effects of that accident and be able to get a top 5 out of it.
You're a dad now. I mean, you've got a young daughter. Does that come into play at all as far as your career in racing? Do you think about when things happen like at Watkins Glen, and you think about how dangerous the sport really is? Now that you're a father, do you have a different outlook on it, or is it still just, hey, it's my job?
I don't think that I have really any different outlook on it. I've obviously, you know all the risks that are involved in racing. You know how dangerous it can possibly be. And the way I look at it, being a dad, I kind of have to think about those things. But when you're in the race car, you can't be thinking about those things. You need to be focusing on what you're doing. And that's always kind of been my the thing where I'm going to decide, that this is when I need to quit, is when I'm thinking about, my safety out there. I'm thinking about other things than driving the race car. So at this point in time, I still can put all that stuff out of my mind. I still want to go out there and race. And when it comes down to it, you're going to have days where you get in wrecks. And the biggest thing that you can do is try to take care of yourself as far as keeping physically fit, and also making sure that the insides of the car are safe, and that you're doing your job to make sure that you have all the best safety equipment in there.
A lot of people are going now, a lot of drivers are moving from the open wheel racing to NASCAR. Is it beneficial? Obviously, there are a lot of fans, there's certainly more races, a lot of sponsor endorsements. But has it been beneficial to you, and would you encourage other people to do that?
I don't know if I can encourage anybody to do it. I mean, you saw guys, myself and Juan Pablo were basically the first, two guys to really come into into NASCAR racing, and Dario and Patrick Carpentier and a couple other guys, kind of followed along. And, basically it's Juan Pablo, Montoya, and myself are the ones that are still here. And, I don't know if I'd urge anybody to do it, but, I was, very successful and, very blessed to be able to do as well as I did in IndyCar racing. And you've seen how difficult the transition has been for me. So I think that, when it comes down to it, I think that people have watched, my transition, seen how difficult it was. Obviously, Montoya was very accomplished, not only in Formula One, but in IndyCar racing. And it's been difficult for him, too. So, I mean, it just shows you that this is not easy. You have 43 cars as far as competition, and it's a lot different than driving open-wheel cars. But it's a lot of fun being able to take that challenge and to kind of now to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that we're getting to where, we feel that we're around the corner from being able to win races.
Well, Sam, you have a lot of fans up here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. We wish you luck at Bristol and through the rest of the summer.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All righty. Sam Hornish Jr. joining us here on Fox.